Hey y'all, Big right here with another video. Got my brother with me today. Today we're going to be doing a dip review on Skoal Extra Mint. I mean, I just cracked the can, so I mean, yeah. But let me pack a dip, and while this fucktard's over here flicking y'all off. I used to dip Skoal Mint when I first moved up here, and then I kind of moved to wintergreen, but then I went back to mint because wintergreen just is overplayed. I dipped it for 3 years and it just But and then I moved to Coke Straight, which is my favorite. So I'm throwing a dip, just a little one today. Woo, it's been a while. But yeah.
Since you were at work.
Work where?
Gary?
No.
Wait. Because John Cooper.
Yeah. That's right. Because oh, Johnny Boy threw a damn. I got him to get me that can that one day because my grill was kind of ate up.
Shit.
But
your grill?
Gums. They call them grills.
Fucking weird.
What are you talking about? Mud Jug 1 says grill. Outlaw says grill.
Yeah, but they're funny about it.
Yeah. Fuck you, Christian. But okay, so I dip Copenhagen. It's my favorite type of dip out there. In my opinion, is the best brand of dip. I mean, now when you get into chews are different. But my opinion.
Copenhagen don't do chew.
Yeah, I know Copenhagen doesn't do chew, but when it comes to chews, I'm gonna have to do a chew review one day. But so Copenhagen, in my opinion, is the best. I mean, whatever y'all like is what y'all like. I mean, I'm not trying to change y'all's opinion or nothing, but Copenhagen's my favorite. Now, I sometimes go to Skoal. Like, when I get tired of dipping Copenhagen straight long cut every single day, every dip I have is Copenhagen straight long cut, I kind of get tired of it, and I'm like, alright, so I'll go back to Skoal Mint. Which, the reason I go back to Skoal Mint, well, I go to Skoal Extra Mint, because Skoal Extra Mint kind of holds flavor a little better than Skoal Mint, just slightly better. But,
because it's extra.
Yeah, but, so, Skoal is okay. I mean, they got an okay cut. I mean, it's not the best in the world. Like, if you look at it, it's kind of fine cut, this can. It's kind of fine cut, but kind of not. I mean, if you look at it, it's okay. But, people say that Skoal is for pussies. And
they're right.
I'll agree with them somewhat on that. I mean, hold on, I gotta move the camera. But, I'll agree with them. Shit. But I'll agree with them sometimes on that. I mean, the only Skoal I dip would be Skoal Mint, which would be extra mint, and then Skoal Straight when I'm down to my last resource. Like, if I can't get anything, everything's out of stock, and all they got is Skoal Straight down there at the gas station right down the street, I'll go down there and get a can of Skoal Straight. But in order for me to get the same effect off of Copenhagen Straight as I do is Skoal Straight, I'd have to throw a hog in. But yeah, so back to the Skoal Mint review. Skoal Mint, it has great flavor. It holds. I mean, once you take it out, it's like sucking on a peppermint, I swear. You breathe in, you can feel the cold air going down your throat and in your mouth and all that. And same when you breathe out. And, I mean, the flavor, like I said, the flavor stays a decent time. And, I mean, the cut's okay. It kind of holds together okay in your mouth. Not too great. I mean, Grizzly and Copenhagen and Stoker stay together better in your mouth, but Skoal is okay when it comes to packing it and keeping it together in your lip. Now, Skoal, I don't know. There's something about it that I can't keep it in as long as Copenhagen. I mean, I could put this dip in like y'all see me just put this dip in. It wouldn't be like 5 minutes ago. Well, I say give it about 45 minutes to an hour, and I have Gator's Lip. But I guess it's just because of the flavoring. Because I know when I throw straight like Copenhagen straight, Skoal straight, Grizzly straight, it doesn't give me Gator Lip. But when I get into the mints and the wintergreens, it kind of gives me Gator Lip, kind of fries my grill, and that's the one reason why I don't constantly dip Skoal mint. I mean, now I'm waiting for Copenhagen mint to come out because I'm gonna do a review on that. Y'all have my word on that. As soon as that comes out, the first day, I'm snatching a can up and I'm doing a review on it. I ain't even gonna crack the seal until I get home and sit in front of this camera and do the video. Because I've had Skoal mint once. I meant Copenhagen mint once. It felt like, I don't know, I went from Grizzly Wintergreen and Longhorn Wintergreen, ugh, that shit's nasty. But I went from that and dipping that for 3 years, and then I threw a pinch because my buddy had came up, because I was living in Georgia at the time, and he came up from Florida, and he was a big time dipper, and he was like, hey man, I picked up a can of Copenhagen mint because I told him, I was like, man, I'm getting tired of wintergreen. I want to try something new. He was like, man, I'll pick you up something on the way up there. So he came up, and when he got there, I was like, man, what'd you get me? He's like, I didn't get you nothing, but you can have a pinch of this Copenhagen mint. And I was like, Copenhagen mint? I didn't know they made Copenhagen mint. And that was like 4 or 5 years ago. That was back when I first started dipping. All I knew was wintergreen and straight. I really didn't know many other dips. I mean, I knew Skoal had like cherry, peach, apple, shit like that. Which, cherry, man. That shit is nasty. I don't know. People say they can dip it, but I was dipping down in Georgia a couple years ago, and my uncle caught me, and he was like, oh, guess what? And he played it off cool. He was like, oh man, you're dipping Skoal cherry. You bowed out, and I opened my can because I tucked it in my boot because I kept it in my back pocket. They'd see it. So I pull it out of my boot and I crack it, and I'm like, oh well, I got a quarter of a can. He's like, man, I'll go down to the store and I'll buy you 2 cans. I was like, okay. So we get in the truck and we're driving down the road. I think everything's just like going good, right? Get to the store, he goes in there, buys me 2 cans of Skoal cherry. He comes out and he's like, guess what? I'm like, what? He's like, when we get back to the house, guess what you're gonna do? I'm like, what? He's like, you're gonna eat both these fucking cans of Skoal cherry, and I'm like, fuck. He's like, yep, and you can't stop until you throw the fuck up. Well, he didn't tell me that at the time. He's like, you gotta eat both these cans. And I was like, okay. And I'm thinking in my mind, fuck, this is about to be bad. I'm about to be sick as fuck. So, we get back to the house. It was a good, 30-minute drive, 45-minute drive, because the closest gas station was, 25 to 50 miles away. It was a long drive. So I'm sitting there the whole time. I'm getting scared as fuck in the back of my mind, right? I'm overthinking it. I'm starting to get nauseous just thinking about it, right? I get back to the house. He's like, all right, let's go to the backyard. So we go to the backyard, and he's like, crack the can. I'm like, okay. And he's like, throw a hog in. And I'm like, all right, I threw a hog in. I'm talking about I stretched it from here to here, and I upper decked it. Pretty much threw half the can in. He's like, don't even spit, swallow. And I'm like, ugh. So, needless to say, is I went through a can and a half, and he was like, I was like, do I seriously got to eat both of these cans? He was like, no, you just had to go until you threw up. I was like, shit, if you told me that, I threw up before we even fucking did it. Shit. And he was like, oh, well, did you learn your lesson? I'm like, I don't know. You're about to learn your lesson if you don't back up, because I'm about to throw the fuck up all over you. So I go to town, throwing the fuck up all over the backyard and shit like that. But, yeah. But back to this review. I mean, if I had to rate Skoal Extra Mint on a scale from 1 to 10, I would give it, well, if I was rating it out of just Skoal, I'd give it a damn 8 or 9. But since I'm not, I'm just rating it, I'd give it about a 6 or a 7. Just because it fries your grill. It doesn't pack very well, but it is a good dip. Don't get me wrong. Great dip. Flavor's great. It keeps your breath minty afterwards. I mean, shit. If you don't brush your teeth for a couple of days and you throw one of these sons of bitches in, you don't brush your teeth for 2 days. Say you're out in the woods camping or something. You're on a fishing trip with a couple of buddies down in a lake out in the woods, and you got a can of this on you. Man, you ain't brushed your teeth the whole time. Throw a dip of this in. Smell like you just brushed your teeth with Colgate. I swear to God. But, it's a good dip. Don't get me wrong. When Coke Mint comes out, I ain't ever gonna dip Skoal Mint ever again because shit, I'm gonna be stocked up on fucking Copenhagen Mint because that's the first thing I'm doing is buying a log. I will go and I'll spend $20 on a fucking log of Copenhagen Mint, and I will come home and I will cherish every motherfucking dip because, well, that shit is like once it hits your gums and the inside of your lip, I swore I heard angels singing. They were like, ah, like seriously, it was great fun. Until afterwards, I was like, whoa, it gave me a buzz from hell. And that's another thing about Skoal Mint. It does not really give you a buzz. Now if you're a beginner dipper and you throw a dip of Skoal Mint in, yeah, it'll give you a buzz. But just about any dip. If you ain't never had a dip in your life and you throw a dip in, it will give you a buzz. Now, depending on the size, now if you take a bitch pinch that's like this fucking big, just an itty bitty one that you can hardly fucking see a little bump, it'll look like you have a fucking ingrown hair, pretty much, up under the skin. You can't even see redness, it's just right there. It's just like, boop, just a little bump. And something like that wouldn't give you a buzz unless you started fucking swallowing that shit. And then, yeah, maybe give you a buzz. But, the Skoal really isn't strong. But yeah, it's okay. It's an okay dip. Flavor's great. But, yeah. That was my Skoal review. I just went and picked this up from the store. Well, I had my dad pick it up because I just got off school. And I knew he was at work, and I was like, hey, Paul, can you pick me up a can? He's like, yeah, I got you. So he picked me up a can, and when he got home, I decided to come upstairs and do this review. So, well, that was my review. It really wasn't a great video. I got sidetracked. It's been a long day. But, if y'all like the video, comment, like, share if you want. I'd like the help. But, this is, Big Red, and I'm out, y'all.